She's the most streamed artist on the planet, a record breaker in music, and a cultural force with millions of devoted fans. But before the sold-out stadiums and global fame, Taylor Swift was just a small-town girl facing rejection after rejection. A girl who refused to give up on her dream. Welcome to Famous Legends, where we explore the real stories behind the world's most iconic people. Today, we're diving into the life of Taylor Swift, the singer-songwriter who turned heartbreak into art, battles into anthems, and became one of the most influential artists of her generation. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in Reading, Pennsylvania, and spent her childhood on a Christmas tree farm in Wyomissing. That whimsical setting became part of her personal mythology, a place where imagination and storytelling seemed natural. From an early age, Taylor showed a fascination with music and performance. Her grandmother, an opera singer, gave her an appreciation for vocal power, while her own tastes leaned toward country icons like Shania Twain, Dolly Parton, and Faith Hill. By the time she was 9, Taylor was performing in local theater productions and school plays. She also began singing at public events, and at just 11 years old, she performed the national anthem at a Philadelphia 76ers basketball game, a remarkable achievement for someone so young. That same year, she traveled with her mother to Nashville, armed with a demo tape of karaoke covers. She walked door to door at record labels on Music Row, only to be rejected by every single one. For many kids, rejection at that age would have been the end. But for Taylor, it was the spark that lit a fire. She returned home more determined than ever. A visiting computer repairman taught her a few guitar chords, and from that moment, she became obsessed. She practiced until her fingers hurt, and soon she was writing her own songs, blending personal storytelling with country melodies. Taylor began performing anywhere she could. Local fairs, coffee shops, even small sporting events. Each stage, no matter how modest, was practice for the superstar she would become. Her parents recognized her extraordinary drive and made a bold decision. The entire family relocated to Hendersonville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, so Taylor could be closer to the heart of country music. That sacrifice spoke volumes. It wasn't just Taylor chasing a dream. It was a family believing in it. Living so close to Nashville gave her opportunities to network, perform, and write with professionals, but it also came with pressure. She was just a teenager in a new city, trying to break into one of the toughest industries in the world. Yet, instead of being intimidated, she channeled it into more songs, more practice, and more persistence. Even after moving closer to Nashville, Taylor's path was anything but easy. She was still just a teenager in a city full of seasoned musicians and aspiring stars. Rejection was a constant companion. Many in the industry dismissed her as too young, too country, or simply not ready for the spotlight. But Taylor didn't back down. Instead, she poured her feelings into songwriting, using each no as fuel to sharpen her craft. At 14, her perseverance paid off when she became the youngest songwriter ever signed by Sony ATV Music Publishing. But signing a deal didn't mean overnight success. For years, she wrote songs for other artists and continued honing her unique style. Personal, heartfelt storytelling that captured emotions in a way that felt raw and relatable. Even with a publishing deal, Taylor struggled to find a record label willing to take a chance on her as a performer. Traditional country music executives weren't sure she fit the mold, but Taylor kept writing, kept playing, and kept showing up. She once said, "I'm intimidated by the fear of being average." That mindset kept her moving forward when most would have walked away. Her turning point came when Scott Borchetta, a former DreamWorks Records executive, saw her potential. He was starting his own label, Big Machine Records, and Taylor became one of its very first signings. Unlike the bigger labels that had turned her down, Borchetta believed in her vision. In 2006, at just 16 years old, Taylor released her self-titled debut album. It didn't explode instantly, but it slowly gained traction, powered by singles like Tim McGraw. Audiences, especially teenagers, connected deeply with her lyrics about young love, dreams, and heartbreak. Suddenly, Taylor wasn't just another aspiring singer. she was becoming the voice of a generation who saw their own lives reflected in her songs. By the late 2000s, Taylor Swift was no longer just a rising country singer. She was becoming a household name. Her second album, Fearless, 2008, didn't just sell millions, it made her a crossover superstar. Songs like Love Story and You Belong With Me weren't confined to country radio. They became global anthems. Fearless became the best-selling album of 2009 in the US and won 4 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. At just 20 years old, Taylor had set a record as the youngest artist ever to earn that title at the time. But fame brought challenges. In 2009, at the MTV Video Music Awards, Taylor won Best Female Video for You Belong With Me. During her acceptance speech, rapper Kanye West stormed the stage, declaring Beyoncé deserved the award instead. The shocking moment made global headlines, casting Taylor as both vulnerable and resilient. Instead of sinking under the weight of public humiliation, Taylor leaned into her art, transforming adversity into fuel for her next chapter. Her third album, Speak Now, 2010, was groundbreaking in another way. Taylor wrote every single track herself, proving she wasn't just a performer, but a serious songwriter. Songs like Back to December and Mean revealed a maturity beyond her years and showed critics she could carry an entire record on her own. Then came Red, 2012, an album that blurred the lines between country and pop. Tracks like We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together and All Too Well expanded her reach, attracting both mainstream pop audiences and loyal country fans. But it was with 1989, 2014, that Taylor fully reinvented herself as a pop megastar. With hits like Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Style, she dominated radio, streaming, and award shows. 1989 won Album of the Year at the Grammys, making her the first woman ever to win that category twice. By this time, Taylor wasn't just a musician, she was a cultural force. Each album release felt like an event. Fans analyzed her lyrics for hidden meanings, media outlets followed her every move, and critics praised her ability to evolve while staying true to her storytelling roots. From country fairs to the biggest stages in the world, Taylor had transformed herself into one of the most powerful voices in music. As Taylor's fame grew, so did the challenges. She faced intense media scrutiny, highly publicized feuds, and constant speculation about her personal life. At times, critics painted her as overexposed, questioning whether her success could last, but each setback only fueled her reinvention. One of her biggest battles came in 2019, when she lost ownership of the master recordings of her first 6 albums. For many artists, this would have been the end of their control over their own work. But Taylor turned it into one of the boldest moves in music history. She began re-recording those albums as Taylor's version. Not only did it give her back creative control, but it reshaped the industry by proving that artists could reclaim their power. Fans rallied behind her, sending the re-recordings to the top of the charts. Her music also evolved with each reinvention. In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Taylor surprised the world with Folklore and Evermore, 2 indie folk-inspired albums that showed her depth as a songwriter. Folklore won the Grammy for Album of the Year, making her the first woman in history to win the award 3 times. By 2024, she had won it a 4th time with Midnights, securing her legacy as one of the greatest recording artists of all time. Then came the Eras Tour. Launched in 2023, it wasn't just a tour, it was a cultural event. Each concert was a journey through her entire discography, with elaborate sets and hours-long performances that celebrated every era of her career. It broke records as the highest-grossing tour of all time, surpassing $1 billion in ticket sales, and even generated measurable boosts in local economies, dubbed Swiftonomics. But Taylor's legacy isn't only measured in awards or records. She has donated millions to disaster relief, education programs, and women's rights initiatives. She's spoken out about artists' rights, voter registration, and gender equality, using her platform to create change. And perhaps most importantly, she has built one of the most loyal fan communities in history, the Swifties, who see themselves in her songs and carry her message of resilience into their own lives. Taylor Swift's journey proves that rejection doesn't have to end your story. It can become the beginning of something extraordinary. From singing at county fairs to selling out stadiums across the globe, she turned obstacles into opportunities and transformed heartbreak into anthems that millions sing together. Her legacy isn't just the record-breaking tours, the Grammy wins, or the billion-dollar empire. It's the way she empowers fans to embrace their own stories, to stand up for what they believe in, and to never let anyone else define their worth. That's why Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star. She's a legend who changed the music industry, inspired generations, and proved that authenticity and resilience can move the world. Whose story should we tell next? Share your ideas in the comments below. And if Taylor's journey inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Famous Legends, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, because fame fades, but true legends live forever.